Hi there, it's Phil here. Today I just want to very quickly tell you about some of the apps that I use on my iPhone for using as a video camera within Ecamm. Now, Ecamm makes it very easy to use your video camera functionality from the iPhone along with the apps that make it possible. So really I'm going to just feature three main apps that I use, and I use these in professional video environments. So and I use every one of them, so it's kind of useful to know. There are many more apps than the ones I'm going to show you here, but as we start, so the first one I'm going to tell you about is one called ProMovie. ProMovie right now is under $5 on the App Store, so take a look at that one. The next one is Overviewer. Overview is free and really well worth having a look at. And finally, I use NDI HX Capture, which connects rather differently than the other two. So ProMovie and Overviewer both require you to be connected to the Mac using a lightning cable. So get yourself a nice long lightning cable that allows the data to travel along it, and you'll be fine. This is what I do. I use a 10-foot cable with my iPhone for both of those apps. NDI HX Camera is a wireless functionality. It uses your Wi-Fi network. So I originally started using these apps with an iPhone 8, which I've recently changed. I've now got an iPhone 11, and I would recommend that these really ought to be used with an iPhone 11, 12, 13 or later. They are much better cameras, and particularly the HX camera, the modem built into those phones works way better and therefore is much more reliable with the NDI application. So let's dive straight into the demonstration. What we'll do is we will move on. My applications are here. Let me just show you the first one that we're going to run. We're going to run ProMovie, and ProMovie is this icon here. So make sure you look for that icon in the App Store. There is a free version of the app, but I recommend really that you buy the paid version. It's so cheap anyway, and you'll have a look and see what it is that we're going to do. So let's dive straight into that. Let me just quickly show you the setup I've got, and I'll be using NDI on an iPad to show you this. So let's just move away from those and we'll switch to this scene. I have my iPhone on a tripod, and it's really just filming my cat. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So essentially, that's really the way we're going to do it. It's not really a hard and fast screen test, but it's enough for you to get an idea of some of the functionality of each of the camera applications, and also the quality of the video, because you can tell whether you can see detail in the cat hair and that kind of thing. In terms of lighting, I've got mixed lighting in this room at the moment. It's just normal, and I'll talk to you more about that as we go along. So let's dive straight into the iPhone. And this is the iPhone, and I'll try and talk to you. Hopefully my audio will still stay okay. So let's just very quickly dive into that. So I'm going to touch the ProMovie app first, the red icon. And what you see there is really quite interesting. There's a lot of information and a lot of things that you can do within the application. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of the things. The first thing that I want to show you, and I'll bring on my little red pointer arrow, is this box here. The square box and the circle within it are both, well, one is a focusing box and one is an automatic lighting box. You can split them. So I'm going to touch the screen, and you see I've been able to drag away the exposure box, which is the square one. Now, if I'm happy with the exposure based upon where I've moved that box to, I can touch it, and you see there's a little lock icon. If I touch that, that locks the exposure just here. Focusing wise, I can do the same. So if I touch the focusing ring, I can lock it, and that will lock the focus to that particular point. So those two are now fixed. I could, if I wanted to, if I had a dynamic situation where I had a moving subject, I would be able to leave that unlocked, and it would just follow focus essentially. Okay, without wanting to take too long, I'm going to very quickly go around the screen. We've got our video recording time. We don't need to do that when we're live streaming, but this is a video recording app as well. We've got shake functionality, how much time we've got basically recording capacity on the phone, and battery power, exposure values, and then over here we've got focus. You see this focus area here is lit up. So what we're going to do, what I'll probably try and do is just turn off that to, right, okay. So you can go along this bottom line and change any of these functionalities. So at the moment it's focus, and it's auto-focused, and it's fixed it on 0.69, that's the distance. But I could change the focus if I wanted to. So let me just see if I can do that. Let's just, if I unlock the, there, and I can, with my finger, move the gauge up the right-hand side, and you can see how I can focus or defocus on my subject. Okay, so it's quite blurred there. If I just touch it again, it will then come back into focus. But you see you've got a manual focus functionality. You've also got a zoom functionality, which is just here. So I can touch on the zoom function if I touch that. And again, we've got a slider where we can zoom in and out. Okay. Those of you who know the iPhone 11, this has got, the one I've got has got 3 lenses, and those are selected elsewhere. I don't really want to go with into the other things, but you've got a white balance functionality, ISO, shutter speed, and then over here we've got the ProMovie. You've got your microphone setting, and here we've got the setting for if you're recording a movie, what the resolution etc. will be for that. The important thing that I want to show you for live streaming though is this gear icon. So I'm going to touch the gear icon right now. And just turn off the red line. And within the gear icon, i.e. the preferences, we've got several buttons. So the first one is the camera button. If I touch that, you can see that you've got the ability to take a selfie, or we've got this back camera selected. So the selfie is the front camera, and then you've got your tele setting, your wide and your ultra wide. Obviously this will be different if you've got a camera with fewer lenses. The triple one is quite an interesting one. If I click on that, so I'm just literally going to touch it on the screen, it comes up and gives you a warning or advice that there's a variety of things that do or don't work. So such as high frame rate recording is not available. Manual shutter speed control is also not available. So it goes into a very automated setting, but it will allow you to then just automatically move from one lens to the other. All right, so I'll click close. Let's touch the icon again once more, and we'll go back to the camera setting. And here, as I say, we can actually select any one of the lenses we want to use. By default, we're on the wide. By default, we're on the wide one. At the moment, the view you see is this ultra wide. So if I click on ultra wide there, and then wide, and then tele, you can see in the background how all that changes. I'll move these over and get these out of the way in a little while. I just want to show you a couple of the other settings that are there. Let's go back to the wide, which is the default, as I say. You've then got a camera shake functionality. If you've got your camera on a tripod, you really want to take that off. So I've just touched the off button. You can turn on flash, screen brightness. You've got an overlay, which is a grid scenario. If I show you the overlay, you've got a grid and you've got cropping lines 16 by 9 or 240 by 1. And then you've got a level as well, which is a spirit level, which is great if you want to be able to use that. I'll leave all of those off for the time being. Transform lets you flip the screen, and then you've got a further settings button. So let me just touch that. And in the settings, what I really want to show you is the advanced button. So we do have a full screen mode here. Let me just touch that and show you what really happens. So in full screen mode, you need to turn on this button. This is the magic button for you. And it's the auto hide. So I've got it to auto hide after 5 seconds. All right. Show camera info is the information you got along the top of the screen of the camera when it's in landscape mode. But auto hide here is where we want to go. I'll go touch the settings button back at the top. And that was all in the full screen mode area. That's actually where you want to be. In advanced, you can do a variety of other things. I'll let you look at those things, but for the time being, we don't really need to know too much about that. Okay, let's go back to the settings. And I think I can just move straight on. So just remember the full screen mode setting that we've got. I'll click on the done button at the top corner. And we're now back into the camera. Okay, so I'm going to now touch the gear icon. Touch that. And then the magic for live streaming comes with this button here. This is like a full screen button. So I'm going to touch it once. And we've got that strange looking icon. If you touch it once more and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, do you notice all of the screen peripherals have now disappeared? And within Ecamm, we can very simply zoom to the full screen that we want to use for filming. So that has got that to a good level. You can just tweak it a little bit here and there to get the full screen. So there we are. So there's our first setting, or just on the normal screen. Let me go back in very quickly because this is the kind of standard wide lens. Let me go into the other lens. So I'll just touch the screen, touch the top left hand side, touch the icon there, and then we'll go to camera and I'll change to tele, and then just touch the top left twice. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and everything's gone. And that's the fast, the proper telephoto lens being used on the camera. This image is fully filling the screen of the phone at the moment, and I have no peripheral information on the phone either at this time. I'll touch the screen once more, touch the top left hand corner, touch the gear cog, touch the camera. Let's look at what ultra wide does for us. Touch the top left hand twice, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and everything's disappeared, and that gives you an idea of what the wide version looks like. So hopefully that gives you a good impression. I think it's really great. So this is the I'll just clarify that this is the ProMovie application that we're currently looking at. Okay, let's very quickly go back to my preferred option. So it's camera, wide, 1, 2, and then we count back to there. So that's ProMovie for you, and we'll now move on to the next option. So the next one that we'll look at is Overviewer. Overviewer is a really great application. It is really interesting because it has no controls whatsoever. There's no way you can change the color, but if you've got a well-lit situation, a good environment, then it works really well. It's a free app. It allows you to select different cameras. So if you've got multiple lenses on your phone, then you can select those lenses. And I think as a default, just basic camera for your phone, it's really superb for live streaming, makes things incredibly easy. So, but if you want a little bit more kind of control, then ProMovie is one to do. But Overviewer, let's go straight into it and have a look. So let's switch to the Overviewer screen and see if I can get to that one. So let's see how we go. So bear with me 1 second. Oh, that's not the right scene. Let's see if I can just get the camera running properly. Hold on 1 sec. iPhone, there we are, and the one that we're going to aim for is this icon here, Overviewer. Okay, so let's have a look, and I'll touch the screen and see if we can get that running. Okay, give me 1 second because the camera needs to know that it's in a rotated landscape format. And all I did is tip the camera so that it recognised that it had been moved into a landscape mode. Okay, so this is Overviewer. And what you'll see in the screen is just this very simple green box at the bottom. And basically the 3 dots at the bottom are information. The little torch is to turn on the light on your phone if you need some additional lighting. This one rotates the screen, and this is your lens that you're using. So we're on the number 1 lens, the default lens, as I've said earlier. To clear this screen, it's very simple. You simply touch the screen. So once you've turned it on, if you've got this green overlay, go and touch the screen, and that clears everything off. And then you can simply do what we did with Overviewer, with ProMovie, and zoom to that functionality. So remember, this has got no color controls. We're just in a well-lit environment. I haven't got any way of touching the screen to make it focus or anything like that. If I touch the screen, then the controls come up. I'll touch the right hand button and it will automatically switch to another lens. So this is the wide lens. I'll touch the main screen and that turns everything off. So that works really well, and you can see that working there. And if I touch the screen once more and then touch the right hand button, that changes to the zoomed lens. Remember, this is a free application, so there are no controls. it just automatically gives you the focusing, and it automatically gives you your lighting. So if you want to be a bit creative, maybe it's not the one for you, but for a lot of people this will work really well. If I touch the screen once more and touch the number in the right hand side, it switches to the front camera, and you'll see my ceiling. So there's the ceiling. So let's go back to the standard view, touch once more, and just to remind you, this is the Overviewer application. Okay, so that was Overviewer. Let's go to the last one. The last one is very different. That is NDI HX Camera. NDI HX Camera does not need your camera to be plugged in via a lightning cable, which the other two do. This can work wirelessly. So let's just see if I can get that running and show you the quality of what you're about to see. So let's see how we go. Okay, I'm going to switch to the NDI camera feed, which at the moment will show you some screen information. So you've actually got this blue NDI in the middle down just here. And if I touch that, then, well, when it's blue, it means that it's broadcasting over your wireless network. If I were to just touch the screen, there's actually a control icon just here, and that's our settings icon. Let me just very quickly touch that. It's very hard to see. In fact, it's off screen here, but that brings up a number of settings. This one here is the speed and quality of it's based upon the quality of your wireless network. That's full speed. I'm right next to the router here, so my wireless is fantastic. That would allow me to switch the two cameras, but I can't, within this software, switch between the three cameras that are on a professional iPhone. You only get one view or the front view. So that's really a bit of a shame. Here I could record through the microphone built into the camera, into the phone, but I'm going to touch that and turn that off, as you see. And as I say, that is actually a live icon, and being blue means it's working and transmitting over Wi-Fi. If I touch this, it gives me a lining up grid. I can adjust the lighting a little bit. There's a slider just here which allows me to adjust the lighting. Maybe I can show you a bit more. Yes, I can. So I can adjust the lighting here, and this is a slider, a live slider, which would allow me to zoom in and out. Let me just slide that up so you can see what happens. So you can see I can slide this up, and you know, it works pretty well. Whether or not that's actually using the three cameras or not on the I don't know whether that's using the three cameras. There's nothing to say, there's no documentation to prove that that's the case. However, here we are. Now what I'm going to do is switch over to the NDI feed, because all you're doing is seeing the NDI screen. I'm just sharing the screen of the phone at the moment. So I can actually now directly switch within Ecamm to the NDI feed, which is seen as a camera feed. So let's just do that. So I'm switching right now. Let me just turn off my inset, and I'll move to the NDI feed. And now you can see that we've got a completely clean screen. All of that screen clutter is actually still there on the camera, but when you switch to the NDI feed, it disappears and gives you a much wider view. So again, although there's no color control, if you've got a good, well-lit environment, this seems to work very, very well. As I say, there's only one lens setting really, but you've got the slider up the top, and if I just gently zoom in, then you can see that it really maintains quite a bit of quality. I don't know whether it's pixelating or not, but that's nowhere near the maximum. I'm kind of, well, less than a fifth of the way up on the slider. Let me show you the slider. So you see the slider is only there. And I've got the full length going all the way up that I could go to and zoom into. So let's see what that actually does for us. I'll just bring us back to the NDI feed, and I'll zoom right in. So you can see it doesn't do a bad job. Here we are pixelating, so I don't think there's any point in going any further, but it does give you an idea that you can zoom in and zoom out with the NDI application. So just to be confirm with you, that is NDI HX Camera, all wireless. My one bit of advice there is that you really should be using the fastest Wi-Fi. So go for your 5 gigahertz on the camera. Make sure, of course, your camera is an iPhone 11 or better. I have used NDI on an Android and it really wasn't very nice. I got a very plastic looking result, but I think the results on the iPhones are very, very good. Some Android phones may be better than others, and it's a great way of bringing an Android into your stream. If you want to use an Android, is go off and get the NDI HX Camera application. Right now it's quite expensive. I think it's about $25 US, so you'd have to consider whether that's worth going for. Anyway, that is more or less it. I'm hoping that that was of use to you. Sorry about the audio going in and out, or moving up and down and getting in and out of the way, but it might be useful for you anyway. So what we saw today was ProMovie, Overviewer and NDI HX Camera. And I hope you've enjoyed all of those, and I look forward to helping you in the near future. If you've got any questions, leave questions in the comments and I'll try to answer what I can about the usage of those 3 applications. Thanks a lot now. Bye.